Power to the people. At least that's how it's supposed to work. Municipal residents are increasingly complaining about exorbitant water and electricity bills that do not reflect their actual usage. And individuals are finding little recourse. They're told to pay up or their services will be cut. In an ENCA special focus, we're turning our attention to this issue that affects so many people. Let's speak to Heidi Jokos in Johannesburg, Letiwe Gluli in Durban, Aisha Ismail in Cape Town, and Kobile Matlala in Limpopo. And let's start off with you first of all, Heidi. What is it that you have managed to find in Johannesburg and some of the abuses that these residents are facing?
Most definitely, Jane. It's very important to note that the billing crisis in Gauteng has been a long-standing one. We do understand that Gauteng residents have been complaining for years with regards to being overcharged and overbilled when it comes to their electricity and water. And we have reached out to City Power to get an understanding of what exactly the problem is. I remember as a journalist years back, I had been dealing with similar stories. So it just seems that the problem is not being dealt with adequately. And previously, when we reached out to City Power as well as the MMC of Finance in Gauteng to understand what the problem was, as there were more complaints and more cases being raised by Gauteng residents. We understand there was a glitch in the system, but that can't be the excuse to date. We need to understand what exactly the problem is. So we do have a couple of interviews lined up, but I just need to highlight a case study that we reached out to this lady on Saturday. Her meter box was actually removed earlier this year in January. She's been sitting without electricity. But what is significant about the story is that she identified that an informal settlement had been illegally connecting to her meter box in September of 2018. She alerted City Power about this, and she just kept getting very high bills. Nothing was done about it except the fact that City Power removed her meter box, and now she's sitting without electricity. Let's take a closer look at her story.
They requested that I must sign the acknowledgement of debt. So I said, according to my understanding, the acknowledgement of debt, it means I'm accepting this bill, which I've never, I mean, it's just the two of us here at in the house. I've never used so much. So they said, well, we can't reconnect you. You have to just pay the amount. Then they said to me, you must pay half of what you're owing, which is the 97. So I said, I don't have that money. And he said, 10%. I said, I can still not have that money. I can't raise that money. Then, you know, it was just a hassle because I just had to restart again and go to a different office, and I would be told the same story, that you need to sign the acknowledgement of debt. Hence, I've stayed this long not being connected because I refused to pay the amount that I didn't use.
Goodness, that really is the most horrific story, and you feel that there is no way to go. But let's pop over to Toyondong. Kobile is there. What is it that you've found people suffering from there?
Well, Jane, from where we are standing, it seems in Polokwane, in a place called Flora Park, they are faced with water issues. So they've had water shortages for some time now. They say it's something that they've had to live with for a very long time. But now we understand that from what they were telling us is that they get water perhaps maybe on a Monday, don't have water for the next week, and it carries on and it continues like that. Now it's gone as far as the fact that they now have to get water trucks. Now this is a suburban area which, from what we understand, they have been paying their bills and they continue to pay for the water which they say that they're not receiving. And the water that they're receiving from the trucks, they say sometimes it just stinks of chlorine and they can't drink it and they need to boil it before they can drink it. But the water inconsistencies in terms of water flow still carries on. on, and at times they have dry taps. They have to go as far as flush with the 5-liter water, and it just continues. And it seems like it's something that they have spoken to the municipality about, and there has been numerous meetings that say that it will be attended to, but it never is really attended to. Now, we understand that earlier this year, the youth took to the streets in January, and they were complaining about this and other also issues in terms of service delivery and crime in the area, but it doesn't seem like it ended very well. And in this case, so they're saying that they really just need some assistance. They need somebody who can lend them an ear, and they want to know, why are they having to pay for the water that they don't have, because it comes every month, but yet they still don't have the water. But let's just listen in to the lady that we spoke to hear how they feel about the situation.
We have an issue of water here in Flora Park. It's been a while. It's been years though. So we have a problem of water. The water comes and goes. It's actually difficult for us now due to this pandemic of COVID-19. We're unable to do a lot of things like get water to drink and also to do our laundry, as well as cooking and washing our hands as well. So it's actually difficult for us. So we just need help for us to be able to get water here.
It just shows you how frightened people are about speaking out against this that affects so many of them. Let's go over to Cape Town. Aisha Ismail, the ground zero there, the water restrictions that were put in place. What's the situation now?
Good morning. Well, you can recall that in 2018, the city of Cape Town was faced with what was called Day Zero. The city was facing a drought. There were strict restrictions implemented. They started off with level 6B restrictions. People were not allowed to water their gardens at certain time. They were restricted to a certain number of litres of water. And with this as well, there was a water levy implemented, as well as tariffs that were going up. But I'm also now joined by Sandra Dixon, who's the founder, Jane, of an organisation, a civic organisation called Stop the City of Cape Town. Now, she started this just over 2.5 years ago, and she says that she has more than 17,000 members who are part of this organisation to try and monitor what the city of Cape Town is doing, but also to look at high tariffs, and particularly we focusing in the city on, and with our focus on, the water issue. Now, Sandra, you were telling me that when we were experiencing the drought here in the city of Cape Town, not only did we have a high tariffs, but there was also a levy implemented. How did this work?
Right. How it worked is that with the water restrictions, the city sold less water. And the city all of a sudden realized that they were losing money. And they had to very quickly come up with a plan to actually recoup this money. And hence, the drought charge was born. Initially, it was supposed to be a drought charge which was proposed by Patricia de Lille, and this charge was supposed to be only during the drought. However, after we sent the city 62,000 complaints or objections to this drought charge, the city, in like a couple of seconds, during the council meeting on the 19th of January 2018, just decided to do away with the drought charge, and they replaced it with a punitive water tariff system, as well as the permanent water levy. So we've been stuck with it ever since.
So now the question that people are asking is, our dams are almost full. Why is there still a levy to be paid?
Well, I cannot speak on behalf of the city, but as a member of the public, I feel that the city got used to getting this easy money, because this water levy, which is basically staggered on the inlet pipe into your meter, and it goes 15 millimeters, 20 millimeters and higher. And recently the city opted to actually put in 20 millimeter connections, in other words, maximizing what the levy that they are getting from the public. So my humble opinion is that the city got used to getting this money for nothing. So they're not providing any consumptive water for this levy, and they are just point blank refusing to let go of it.
Thank you so much for your time, ma'am. And that was Sandra Dixon from the Stop City of Cape Town. And this organization deals with the high levels of the high tariffs in the city of Cape Town, not only with regard to water, but also with regards to service delivery and electricity and rates.
And the danger's over, and they're still paying those exorbitant rates. Letiwe, you are in Durban, outside the eThekwini municipality. Tell us what the situation is there, what people are saying about their water and electricity problems.
Well, Jane, I am outside the eThekwini municipality offices this morning, and I've spoken to a few ratepayers, not only from eThekwini, but also under Umsunduzi in Pietermaritzburg. I spoke to about 6 people over last week who have shared their grievances with me regarding high bills that they have to pay. With the people that I spoke to under Umsunduzi municipality, their issues ranged from receiving bills separately. One man that I spoke to, he shared that he's faced the problem with his bills since 4 years ago after purchasing his house. He said that one problem that he has is that he cannot reconcile all his bills. So he receives different bills each and every month, and all of them just have high amounts of money. Another person that I spoke to under Umsunduzi municipality shared how she actually received a letter from the municipality saying that she has to come to the municipality because she owes the municipality about 100,000 rands. She says she's a pensioner and she cannot afford to pay this amount of money. Here in eThekwini, I spoke to a woman who stays in Reservoir Hills, where she told me that her bill has more than tripled since the beginning of the year without any explanation from the municipalities. Now, under Umsunduzi municipality, we'll know that the municipality is under administration and it has been facing a lot of issues when it comes to mismanagement of funds. So that municipality is under administration at the moment. And earlier this month, the MEC for Pokta here in the province, Sipho visited the municipality to check their billing system, whether it's working perfectly or not.
All right, well, it really shows you that when it comes to this sort of situation, you are not in good hands and that it's very difficult to raise issues. Nkobile, Letiwe, Aisha and Heidi, thank you very much for that.